Welcome into Jets Game Day presented by Audi. I'm Caroline Hendershot, Eric Allen, Bart Scott with me in studio. Now, gentlemen, the Jets are going back to Florida, this time for Monday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins. Both teams are looking for their first win. Bart, when you were playing, what was the big difference between a Monday Night Football game and a Sunday game?
It's prime time. You're the only show in town. I know that they're sharing the day, but they're the prime real estate. You talk about the first game, East Coast. It's going to be exciting, electric, and it's an opportunity to show off in front of your peers. That's what I look forward for. I knew that all my peers would be watching.
All right, let's set the table for this AFC East matchup. EA, what has the Aaron Glenn-led Jets shown you in the first 3 weeks?
Well, what I liked from the Jets in Tampa is they showed resolve. That game could have got away from them, but they had an improbable comeback there in the fourth quarter, a 21-point run. Unfortunately, the Buccaneers win that game with a late field goal. But the week prior, the Jets were blown out at home against the Buffalo Bills, so we saw steps as far as improvement is concerned. But the Jets have to play 60 minutes. They can't get behind by 2 scores on the road and expect to win, and they know that. But again, this is an opportunity for them to get over the hump in prime time against a division rival. The Miami Dolphins are in the same place as the Jets. They're 0-3.
Bart, it's only week 4 of a marathon 17-game season, and a lot of people tend to forget that. So what are you saying if you're inside the Jets locker room to rally everyone before heading down to South Florida?
I'm just saying all we have to do is get one. Let's start with one and we'll build from there. Let's get on the right side of the win column, understanding what we have ahead of us. If you can get one, you can get 2. You just got to make sure that you learn the lessons from the losses that you've had in the beginning of the season. You have to apply them to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes. Don't beat yourself. Make sure that you take advantage of opportunities. Make sure that you put the pressure on the Dolphins to play a clean game, not yourself.
Right, and if you get this one, week 5 is back at home at MetLife, so it could be anybody's ball game. All right, let's get into our top storylines presented by HCL Tech. EA, I'm going to have you go first. What's your top storyline?
Well, the reality of the situation is the Jets are 0-3, but they've lost to teams who have a combined 8-1 record. If I told you before the year they lost games to the Bills and the Buccaneers, you would have said, okay, the game that got away from them early was against the Steelers. But if you look at the schedule ahead, you face a team that is in the same boat as you in the Miami Dolphins. They're winless. Then the following week, the Dallas Cowboys are coming to town. They're 1-2. And if you look at the next quartet of games, those teams are a combined 3-9. So, big picture, the Jets have an opportunity here to get back in the mix and settle in, but it's got to start with one. It's got to start against the Dolphins.
Bart, what's your top storyline?
Well, for me, it's who handles the crisis better, right? Who comes together, because at some point, somebody's always got to go, and somebody's going to get their first win of the season and hope that can catapult them. So it's really all about that. So, my matchups are the organizations, right? Who's going to have the pride? Who's going to get it done any means necessary? Who's going to get that first victory of the season and get in the right side of the win column?
I mean, right side of the win column, and it means a little bit more because it's another AFC East
1.5 games.
Exactly. All right, don't go anywhere, because coming up on Jets Game Day, we have an exclusive interview with offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand. Stick around, we'll be right back. Top Storylines is presented by the official digital transformation partner of the New York Jets, HCL Tech, supercharging progress. Jets Game Day is presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer to get behind the wheel of yours today, or visit AudiOffers.com for more information.
3 weeks in, what do you know about this offensive unit at this point?
What I know is that we're improving weekly right now. We're not exactly where we want to be, as the race is a long marathon. But I feel like we're improving in some way, shape, or form every single week right now.
When you look back at last week against Tampa, why were you able to establish rhythm in the second half?
I think there was just a sense of urgency that kind of showed up. We got behind, we got ourselves behind the 8 ball, and it was kind of like we gotta figure out a way to get this thing going. And we came out in the second half, and I thought we did that. We moved the ball really well, ended up with a turnover on downs there on the first drive. And then got a couple of touchdowns there. But I think it was I think the sense of urgency heightened up a little bit right there. And the guys kind of maybe refocused, but it was good. It was good to see that those guys fight back.
What's it like for you when you go into halftime after a pair of turnovers that results in points, and you're getting a unit together as far as okay, guys, we're not out of this right now?
Yeah, what you do is you say it's actually encouraging to some degree, because you go, there's certain things that we didn't do very well right here, but we are in this game and it's not too far away, whereas all we have to do is bring it back down to the base level of the technique and fundamentals and just go execute your job and we'll be just fine. So I think that's like the encouraging part when you're still in the game and you feel like you haven't really performed up to your standard so far.
Now you have a 3-game sample size. You've had to start a couple quarterbacks, obviously in Justin and Tyrod. What do you know about this group, and where do you really want them to hone in on as you enter a portion of the schedule that starts with the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, I think what we want to really hone in on is what do we really want our offense and our team to really look like. And on offense, we, again, as we talked about going back into the spring, is we want to be a detailed, physical outfit that is going to be able to run the football, play action pass, and do some of those different things. And really, we want to focus on how do we get back to who we are, or how do we continue with who we are and really show what we want to be on a daily basis. I think we're in a good spot. We're making progress every week. But again, we're not quite where we want to be just yet.
As a coordinator, do you embrace the extra day now heading into this game with Miami? And also, do you have like quality control guys right now breaking down tape of Dallas, because you have a less day, a 1 day fewer to prepare against the Cowboys?
Yeah, so you love the extra day, but it can be a blessing and a curse as well. With the extra day is you can extend a few things out, or you start looking at some stuff that maybe becomes outliers. So you just have to make sure that you stay focused on the task at hand and stick to your traditional process and say, hey, this is how we're going to prepare this week for these guys. But it does give you a little extra time. And those assistants that you talk about, the quality control guys, they're always behind the scenes trying to stay a day ahead or trying to stay a week ahead with their breakdowns and what's coming down the line after this current game, yeah.
How do defenses change maybe the way they're going to approach you after you guys put on film what you did in week 1, as far as the run game is concerned? Because I feel like sometimes these defensive units, we're seeing them sell out.
So I think after you put a performance on like we did week 1 in the run game, that's a cause for, I guess, concern for future defenses. And they say, okay, what's the number one thing that we have to stop with this offense? And they're always going to say they need to stop the run. And what ended up happening over the last couple of games, what you'll have seen is their movement, a little bit more movement up front, whereas Pittsburgh might have been just a little bit more stagnant and playing their gaps. We've seen just a little bit more movement up front from the defenses the last 2 weeks, whether it's with pressures or just D-line stunts. So we're always working that in practice. Coach Hayden does a great job over there with those guys working in individual and in team periods. But I think that's something that we'll continue to see and monitor as the season goes on.
But the reason why I'm asking that is, in the long run, isn't this going to benefit you guys as far as that young group meshing together?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The more they can see, the more experience they're going to gain, and then the more that they're going to be able to react faster when things start happening. Start seeing pre-snap looks and indicators of what may be coming, so that they can make the appropriate calls to get them into the right blocking schemes targeted to the right players. So yes.
When you scheme up against the Dolphins, are you looking at Anthony Weaver and maybe his background, or the personnel, or the mesh of things?
Yeah, it's a combination. Every time we go and we're game planning a defense, you obviously have to start with what is the structure of the defense, you try to find what their rules are as far as what their defensive structure is in that regard. And then it's always about players, right? We always say it's players over plays. And then so we have to account for every player on that defense. Who are their top playmakers? For example, week 1 was Watt. We had to make sure he was accounted for on every single down. And so we'll find out who those guys are on Miami, and then we'll go on ahead and try to put a plan together that's going to, attempt to attack the defense and those players.
Tanner, appreciate your time.
You got it. Thank you very much.
This exclusive interview is presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer to get behind the wheel of yours today, or visit AudiOffers.com for more information. When we return on Jets Game Day, Bart's breaking down Tua Tagovailoa and the speed surrounding the Dolphins' offense. We'll be right back. As we get closer to Monday night, let's get inside the numbers brought to you by the New York Lottery. Our first number is 77, as in the total number of points scored on October 23, 2000, also known as the Monday Night Miracle. While the Dolphins had a commanding lead going into the fourth quarter, our next number is 23, as in the amount of unanswered points the Jets scored in the fourth to tie the game 30-30. After a Dolphins touchdown to put them ahead 37-30, up next is the number 76, as in the jersey number of Jumbo Elliott, who made the juggling, game-tying touchdown catch. This catch forever lives on in Jets history. And finally, we have the number 5, as in the amount of touchdown passes from the right arm of Vinny Testaverde, the only time he threw for that many in his 21-year NFL career. Jets fans, your lucky numbers for the week will be 77, 23, 76, 5, and 21. Now time for a film breakdown presented by Moody's by the one and only Mr. Bart Scott himself. Bart, one of these teams will come out with a win after Monday night. How and why will the winners be successful?
The winner's going to be successful, whoever's able to impose their will on the opponent. You have both teams that have different philosophies about how they want to go about winning. Miami, has a eyewash, shifts and motions, played with your eyes. And the Jets are more blunt force trauma, downhill, running the football, taking shots. Right here is the first example when you look at, even pre-snap. You see a guy already in motion pre-snap, but I want you to pay attention to this guy when the play starts. He's going to try and take the eyes of the opposing linebacker as well. And all that is to do shifts and motions to not make you sure and see if you can follow the bouncing ball. So as we let this play start, you get down here, you have a late shift in motion out here to play with the eyes, and you see the effect already. So now everybody's eyes is here. Look at the shiny ball. Look at the shiny ball here. And as we let this play, you go out and all of a sudden, now they've tricked you. You got guys reacting to the pump fake. You got eyes here, eyes here. Nobody notices that this guy is doing something weird. Why is he just standing there? So as we let this play go, he goes here, and then this is a tremendous play. Then now you have size and speed in space. Nobody here. Everybody's chasing. This guy's occupied. This guy's 20 yards deep. And when you allow this to go, now you see it's an explosive play. And this is basically a two-man screen with not using the line, because usually we're used to everybody going and an offensive lineman being part of the screen. We rarely see a two-man screen with a tight end and a running back, but that's exactly what it is.
Right.
And everybody knows this next play, this is just simply showing that when you have the opportunity, when the coach draws up the perfect play. Last week we saw Sauce in this similar situation last week, blitzing off the edge. When you get there, you have to understand you have to be disciplined, because even though Tua Tagovailoa isn't known for his running ability, he's still a quarterback that has played at the highest level for a long time, whether it's Alabama or has been the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Whenever you're blitzing off the edge, your aiming point should always be the upfield shoulder, because it's your ability and it's your responsibility to make sure that nothing gets outside of you. Here, Tre'Davious White's doing a good job, but here's the key that let you know that his eyes are peeking in here because he's trying to see the snap of the ball. As this play continues to go, it's drawed up, he's unblocked. And at this point, understand that the quarterback has peripheral vision. He can see you coming, but he's not going to react to you this early, because if he reacts to you this early, you're going to redirect and go. So the mistake that he made is his angle is right there. See his angle? He's already outflanked because he's going here. You should always attack the ball. Remember, Tua Tagovailoa, if he escaped to his left, he's a left-hander, so it's an easy throw for him because he's not throwing across his body if he was running over here to the right. So as this goes, this becomes a huge play and a pivotal down. Remember, look right here. This is the money down. It is 3rd and 12. And you put your team, the coordinator did everything that he was supposed to do, but you don't finish. And then, of course, you allow Tyreek Hill, who's one of the best players, to be able to do what we call the pursuit drill, the scramble drill. Scramble drill is when your quarterback's in trouble, everybody comes to the quarterback. And if you get to the sideline, you turn it up. So this is a straight scramble drill. It's a broken off-schedule play. It's a huge pickup for Miami, and simply because you weren't disciplined in your fundamentals. When we were doing the earlier show this week, we were talking about alignment, assignment, and technique, right? Tre'Davious aligned the right place. He had decent technique, but he didn't finish. And
Right.
that's what it's about. It's about the details. Understanding that you always attack the upfield shoulder. That way, if the quarterback escapes, he escapes inside and gives your inside pursuit an opportunity to get there. If he circles you, then now you have everybody pursuing him from the inside out, and you basically cut the defense.
All right, thank you so much, Bart. Don't go anywhere because when we come back on Jets Game Day, we'll be talking our final thoughts heading into Monday night. This film breakdown is brought to you by Moody's, proud partner of the New York Jets. Get 100% verified tickets to every upcoming game at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Jets and the NFL.
We have one focus in mind, that's to go down to Miami and go get a win. And we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to it. So, again, I like exactly where we're at as far as the mentality of our team. We still have a ways to go when it comes to things that we got to improve on. Yeah, we're going to do that on a daily basis. But our guys are excited, and our guys are right where they need to be mentally.
What's it like for you this weekend going home and not only playing the Dolphins, where you grew up, but also Monday Night Football?
Oh, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome experience, but I'm not making it too big of a thing. I know my mom and my dad are really excited for it, but I'm just treating it like a normal game.
That was your locker room roundup presented by Dunkin'. The Jets run on Dunkin'. All right, gentlemen, it is time for Make Your Case. Bart, you are up first. What is the key to turning the defense around in Week 4?
I say it all the time. It is assignment, alignment, and technique. Right? Sometimes we see the alignment is right, but we don't see the technique is right. You know, we over-pursued a couple of times, Baker Mayfield. You have to learn how to come to balance, and that's really what it has to be. It goes back to the fundamentals, the same things you've been doing all your life, but you have to make sure that you're disciplined in your approach, understanding that, you know, you have to stay inside out, come to balance, grab cloth, and make sure you're able to move your feet. Everything can't be about a knockout shot. You have to make sure that you also understand the angles and make sure you communicate with your teammates. You know how to team be. The best way and the best tackling teams are teams that gang tackle, that is more than one person in the pursuit. And that's really what it comes down to.
EA, what would you say is your prediction for this Monday night? Are we in for an offensive shootout, or is it going to be low scoring?
I would tend to think there's going to be a lot of points in this game because you look at both defenses right now, they're giving up more than 30 points a game. The Miami offense was quite effective the last couple weeks against the Bills and the New England Patriots. They found their footing after that debacle against the Indianapolis Colts. And I think offensively, the Jets have a lot of matchups they can take advantage of against the Dolphins defense.
Bart, what is that number one responsibility for the Jets defense against Miami?
You can't give up the easy scores, right? We can't have a blown assignment with Waddle or Tyreek Hill going over the top. You know that they generate explosive plays. You got to make sure that you're good in tackling, and you know that they're going to try and make your corners tackle, right? With Achane trying to get to the corners and the edges, and you know being able to come downhill as well. But you know that they have elite speed, and if you don't be fundamentally sound, you let them get a clear pathway, they can take it to the house.
EA, Garrett Wilson averaging 76.3 receiving yards per game. Will he get over 100 against the Dolphins secondary?
Oh, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that big time. He had 10 receptions last week against the Buccaneers. I don't think Miami has an answer in the secondary for Garrett Wilson. So, yeah, I'll take that big time, and I might throw all my chips in.
Oh, okay. Very confident. Bart, neither team has registered a takeaway on defense. Is that going to change Monday night? And if yes, who will it be?
Well, listen, it has to be the Jets, right? Because you have to get still opportunities and still possessions. And the way you do that is by rallying to the ball. First guy in, secure the tackle. Second guy, punch it out. And it's the fundamentals. You see this Peanut Tillman thing really kind of going, to the next level. You saw Monday Night Football, Derrick Henry, a guy who traditionally doesn't tackle. When you don't see you don't see the defender, it's an opportunity for you to try and push the ball out. And also, you got to try and tip balls, change games as well. So you talk about the defensive line. Tua is a shorter quarterback. When you have opportunities you can't get to the passer, tip the ball up. You have a greater chance if you tip the ball up of your teammates getting it than you do of the opposing offense catching it.
One of these teams is coming out with their first win of the 2025 season, so we'll see if it's the Jets. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining us on Jets Game Day presented by Audi. We'll see you next week when the Jets host the Cowboys.